life is such a mixture. If our days were like the colors of threads, part of our lives would be the tan of everyday living. Driving, eating, working, planning. Part of the color of our lives would be the tan of ordinary existence. And woven into that tan of ordinary daily living would be the pink of change. We end up in a new school. We meet a new friend. Our job takes us to another city. We notice that the kids have all grown up. Woven into the ordinariness of our daily living is the pink of change. And part of the fabric of our lives is the white of goodness and of joy. Our hopes, our dreams, forgiveness, and friendship. And a part of that rich tapestry is the green of new life. Maybe it's the birth of a baby, or the announcement of a marriage, or a graduation. And into all of that comes the color no one wants, the red, the blood red of suffering. This is the painful diagnosis from the doctor. This is the broken relationship, the children starving or abused, the alcoholism that tears apart our family, or the death of a loved one. And suddenly, all we see is the red of our pain, the blood red of suffering. And we wonder how we could ever go on, or if we would even want to. Such was Good Friday. The disciples had found in Jesus someone to believe in. They found meaning for their lives. They found a reason to be excited and to have hope and to care. And now they saw his blood flow red. And now all that they could see is red. The red of their heartache and loss. And they wondered how they could ever go on, or if they would even want to. And when that is the truth for us, we do the best we can. We try to weave the pieces together. But I think that no matter how hard we try, we end up with something that just looks like this. And it feels like a mess. Yeah, you want me to care again even though love broke my heart? I'm supposed to be fair even though others cheat and are dishonest? Why should I go on trying to make a difference when there is so much evil and suffering in this world? You want me to care, even though love will only break my heart again? And we somehow can't make the colors of our lives mesh with the blood red of suffering. And yet, Easter says something to us when life is like this. Easter says that just as the weavers pull the threads through on the other side and then trim them, that there is another side to what we see. Oh, it's hard to trust it in the moment. It always is a leap of faith. But the promise of Easter is that the master weaver takes all the colors of our lives, even the blood red of suffering, and weaves from them a new good, something maybe we would have never dreamed of. The promise of Easter is that there is another side to what we see. For this young woman born in poverty, this young, courageous, faithful man, God took the colors of their lives and wove the birth of the child Jesus into their home. It would have been something they would have never imagined. And through all the mixtures that life would call from them, somehow God was there. But then they too watched their son, who had grown up, as his blood flowed red. And suddenly that was the only color that they could see. But my brothers and sisters, that is where the promise of Easter comes in. That there is another side that they could not have seen. That for each of us, of course, as it must have for Mary and Joseph, sometimes it feels that life is like this, and all we see is the yuck and the mess. But how wonderful of God that there is another side, and that is the promise of Easter. Easter does not say that, oh, everything will have a happy ending, so it doesn't matter how you live. Easter says, if you stay true, God will work the most even difficult of situations to a new good. There is another side than what we see, that there can be forgiveness that yields a new relationship, that we can care again, that it matters that we are faithful, that the sacrifices and pains will pay off, and that even the death of a loved one is not the end, that there is life on the other side of what we see. For those who stay true, the promise of Easter is there's another side to what we witness. Every Sunday, George would drive his wife, Rosie, to church. George and Rose had been married many, many years and loved each other deeply and did almost everything together, except one of the few things was this. Every Sunday, George would drive Rose to church, and then she would get out, go into the service, and he would stay in the car and read the paper. One day, Rose died, and people no longer saw George's car in the parking lot at church until Easter. And Easter Sunday, there was George's car again. But this time, George got out of the car and came in and sat among the congregation. And when George heard the Easter scriptures, something stirred in him. And as was the custom of that parish, after communion, and after the pastor asked if anybody had anything to say, and much to everyone's surprise, George stood up. And George said, I have one thing to say. He said, Rosie lives. And then he cleared his throat and he began to sing, My Wild Irish Rose, the sweetest flower that grows. And others began to sing along until most of the church joined in singing what some would call one of the most beautiful Easter hymns they would have never expected. Rosie lives. And George, for the first time, understood those scriptures to not simply be about something that happened long ago, but something for him as well, that there was another side to what he saw. He saw his wife gone from himself, but he did not see, but he came to trust that there was another side. And what we celebrate is not just what happened to Rose. We celebrate what happened to George. Because now he understood. Now he believed, at least the best he could. And I can almost picture Rose in heaven, that even as George stood up in church and proclaimed, "My Rosie lives," I could almost imagine Rose with tears in her eyes turning to those around her saying, "My Georgie lives." Because he had been brought through to see that there is indeed another side. What a mixture our lives are. Into the tan of our ordinary living comes the pink of change and the white of goodness and joy. The green of new life and the blood red of suffering. And somehow, it's hard to see beauty except that we trust that God, the master weaver, will take the colors of our lives and weave from them something beautiful and good. My brothers and sisters, the promise of Easter is that if we stay true, there is always another side than what we can see now. Nice ears, oh buddy. Easter, Easter, I know. It's exciting, isn't it? Yeah. Well, Big Al, last week on Palm Sunday, I looked for you and you were gone. You said you were on retreat. I was. You were? Okay. Well, Big Al, you sometimes say stuff and maybe we define things a little bit differently. What I might call a retreat, you might not call a retreat. I was. Really? Show you. You want to show me? Okay. Look. All right, I'll watch. You want to show me? Oh, Big Al, you're praying. Told you. Nature. Oh, that's what I do on retreat too. Yeah, I like to look at nature. Yeah, I see God there, Big Al. That's awesome. Oh. Way to go, buddy. See? Okay, well, I see, yeah. Well, Big Al, I love that you took time to pray. I just think that's awesome. Way to go. And now what, Big Al? Picture. What? You painted a picture for me on retreat? Hey, look. Here it is. There it is. Beautiful. Beautiful? Yeah. Other side. Oh, I gotta look at the other side. Okay, thank you. Okay, there. Okay, I'll look at the other side. Let's see what we got, Big Al. You got tired. All right. God's job. Okay, well, that's good, yeah. Well, I think you're right, Big Al. I think that's what God does. God takes kind of the mess of our lives and makes something beautiful out of it, and there's a beauty to that as well, but I'll look forward to the finished product. Happy Easter. Happy Easter to you too. And boys and girls, life is such a mixture, but there is always another side just beyond what we can see with our eyes. Let's stand and pray.